Here's in Hot Homestead, and my name is Jeff. Today, what are we doing on the homestead? Well, winter's coming, and I got some pipes in this pump house here. I gotta make sure it don't freeze. So let's winterize some pipes. So let's see what I'm doing. Water pipe heat cable. So I am installing this on my water pipes out here in my pump house so that my water lines don't freeze this winter. I expect my temperatures to get anywhere from -5 to the high of maybe 20, if I'm lucky, in the 40s. So it's going to freeze, and it's going to freeze for a long time out here on the homestead. So this water pipe heat cable runs about 7 watts per foot, and this one just happens to be 12 feet. So you can do the math on how many watts. It's only going to kick on when temperatures are like 35, and then kick off when the pipe reaches 40. So let's see how I'm installing this. Alright, so this orange piece there with that little black piece touching the pipe there, that is the thermostat. So it's going to tell the temperature of the pipe. When it reaches a certain temperature, it will kick on, and when it reaches a certain warmth, it will kick off. Now, you can attach this any way you wish. If you want to use electrical tape like I did here, or if you want to use, ties or whatever. I use electrical tape for this reason. I've got some weird angles going here on my stuff, so the electrical tape just held it in place a little bit better. You always want to put something on the beginning and ending in the front and back of this so that you got even pressure down and holding it in place. And then you just basically run the length of your piping. Now, it did say in the instructions on PVC pipe for a plastic pipe to run aluminum foil around the pipe. Well, instead of me using aluminum foil, I went with, and you can see a piece of it right here, I went with this aluminum tape, the reflective tape, and I just put that where it was going to meet the pipe. So I basically have it just running along here and running underneath this. It also says to put it on the underside is best, which kind of makes sense. Heat rises. And then on my water pump, I put it around this housing here. Now this is the water housing, but I do not put it on this, and I don't put it on the pressure tank. I just leave it on here. From what I've read, if you put it on the pump itself, it will burn up the pump. And then I just run it through here. Then on my filter, I've got it running down and around and back up. I did not swirl it around because this heat tape cannot cross itself. So you can't touch itself. So you got to keep it separated. And then I ran it there and then down to my check valve down there. And electrical tape all the way around. And so now I need to put something around the pipe and cover up the pipe, and what that does is that helps hold in the heat. So you got this thing here working to give you some heat, and you don't want to lose the heat. So what I'm going to use for that is pipe wrap insulation. It's foil backed fiberglass, 1 inch thick, 3 inches wide. This one just happens to be 25 feet long. The heat tape I used here is a 12-footer. So I should have this being wrapped around it. It's going to use a lot. We'll see how much is left over. Because you're going to wrap it like you see in that illustration there. But it just looks like regular insulation with the foil backing, and it's just all in a roll, and you just wrap it around. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll start probably on this end here. No, you know what, I think I'm going to start on that end over there. We'll start down there. So there we go. I've got the heat tape on, and then I've got the fiberglass with the foil backing around it. Now, what I was told by the people at the big box store was the reason why you go with the fiberglass over the heat tape is because the fiberglass with the hot and cold fluctuating won't dry out as much as the rubber or the foam will. Rubber and that other foam will eventually kind of dry out, and it will kind of break down and fail basically. The fiberglass won't. So the thought behind it is you put the fiberglass on first, and I didn't like how it went on, but the angles that I was going with around here was because I started down there and I worked my way up. I had like a valve to go around, I had an angle and this filter here and all that. So I wasn't happy with the way it came out, but what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to come back over it, because now I've got this on, so it's going to help keep the heat from the heat tape on the pipe itself, and it doesn't lose it out in the air. And then by me just putting another piece around, especially around the fiberglass part of it, right around in this area here, then that's going to just help capture the heat a little bit better, and I should be in better shape in the big picture. Because I figure this, why not just wrap it a couple, 3 times? If I continue to wrap it, it's going to not only keep the pipes warm, but it also means the heat tape won't come on as often, and therefore it's a win-win situation. So I can keep the pipes warm, so the water doesn't freeze with the heat tape, and then I can reduce how often the heat tape comes on by just continuing to wrap stuff around it. So I went around here, I went around this area here, because this is going to have water in it, because this is part of the pump, and then right down to here. I left this exposed because they say you want to leave this thermostat exposed. Now I put some tape on both ends. I got it here and I got it over here. And then what I think I'll do is I think I'll just go back around it all with something. Otherwise, this guy is done and ready to go. So my pipe should be warm this winter. Alright, she's done, I hope. So I've got black rubber pipe insulation tape on the top of the foil and fiberglass. So the fiberglass is touching the heat tape, and then I just covered the fiberglass with this tape here, and that should keep it pretty warm. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add this kilowatt meter to it. On this kilowatt meter, you've seen it in one of my other videos there, but I'm going to use this kilowatt meter so that all winter long, so that I can check it and see how many watts are really being used through here, because that heat tape only comes on when the thermostat, which is right there, hits like 35, 32 something degrees, right around there. So when that pipe hits that temperature, it'll kick on. When it hits 40, 45, something like that, it'll turn off. So that's why you wrap it up, so that you can retain the heat as long as possible, which means this thing kicks on less with it being wrapped up. But I think if I use this kilowatt meter here, then I can really measure how many watts are really being used. And then I can go by, because I also have a gauge there, and then that one there, you saw in one of my other videos, it's a probe thermometer going down to a valve down there. So I'll be able to monitor the air temperature here with this one, that temperature there from the valve down in the ground, And then this here, how many times the kilowatt turns, or the heat tape turns on, and the kilowatt will measure that for me. So I can kind of gauge on when it's 10 degrees, how often this thing may kick on. So that way I can either wrap up the pipes more or less, basically. But that's it for wiring up my, or not wiring up, but yeah, I guess wiring up, because I wired it with heat tape. But insulating my pipes for my pump house, and I should be ready for the winter now. Thank you for watching my video today, and I appreciate you watching it all the way through there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Every little bit helps support my channel. My name is Jeff, and you've been watching Arizona Hot Homestead.